Thai SIM card doesn't work. Internet doesn't work. I've got an Uber driver. I'm showing him, I took screenshots of my hostel, and I have the Uber app, and I'm saying, okay, can you take me here? Yeah, hop in the car. Okay, so I got in a stranger's car at night in a foreign country, and it was one of the scariest situations I had abroad, because he was trying to kiss me, and when I said no, he came on to me, and I had to get physically aggressive. And lucky for me, he was a very tiny Laotian man, and I was aggressive enough to scare him. So that could have gone really bad for me. And it really opened my eyes to, sometimes I can be naive and very trusting. And so you do have to be careful if you're traveling alone. Especially as a woman, if you're doing the hitchhiking thing and you're like, hey, can I have a ride? Like hitchhiking in Mexico from this popular surf spot to Bucerias. People do it all the time, and they do it in groups. If you got your surfer buddies, yeah, hop in the back of the truck, hitchhike, yeah. But if you're by yourself and you're crossing a border at night, that's really stupid.
Well, that's how you learn, right? I mean, sometimes you have to make mistakes, and I'm sure it's a very small number of times things like that happening compared to the 4 years that you were traveling, right? So obviously it wasn't scary enough for you to stop traveling.
That's true. That's
just
true.
A learning experience.
Yeah, it was kind of just like a slap in the face from the universe, like, hey, why would you do that? Why would you do that? So since then, I decided not to cross international borders at night by myself. Yeah, it's just not a good idea. Yeah. And I've had a lot of those experiences where I just barely got away, and I feel like, whoo, I got lucky there. And again, that's just all part of the reason, like we were talking about earlier, how solo travel gives you this confidence, and it makes you feel brave, and like you can kind of take on the world, because the more you travel and the more things you go through, like the more competent and confident you feel. You're like, damn, if I made it through that, I can make it through anything, And the money thing is something we should definitely discuss when it comes to extended travel, because I think that's one of the number one fears people have about living abroad. They're scared of the unknown, and they're scared of not making it because of the costs. And like a lot of Americans I know, friends, family, how do you do it? How do you survive? You've been there for a year. How do you do it? I'm like, well, you live in San Diego, California. It's one of the most expensive in America. I'm pretty sure your rent's $1,300 a month. I've got a fancy apartment in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and my rent's $400 a month. Mm-hmm. Like, my apartment's nicer than yours, and it's $400. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's all about perspective, but if you're living in a country with a very low cost of living and you have the luxury of making US dollars or euros, I mean, that's
location
got to think about that.
Getting paid in one currency and using it in a different currency, you can really take advantage of the exchange rates.
Yeah. And another thing, Tim, what you mentioned about the lifestyle, it's a lot of it is your lifestyle habits. If you're going out partying every night and going out to eat at nice restaurants every night, yeah, you're going to run out of money. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
it depends on what kind of tours you're doing. I think my biggest expenses are flights and accommodations. The touring stuff sometimes can be expensive, but a lot of the times I'm looking for nature, outdoorsy activities like hiking, chasing the local waterfalls, surfing, swimming at the beach. And most of that stuff, I mean, aside from like renting some gear, is free. Outside is free. But it's true. What does it cost you to twice a week go visit the local Thai cafe and trade English for Thai with a local Thai man? Okay, that coffee cost me $1.50 or something, and I'm having the best 4 hours of my week because I get to sit with a Thai guy and trade language and try to communicate with him. I don't know, just
it's expectations, isn't it? It's what you want from things and what you expect to get out of what you want. And so a lot of people don't, I think, and that's why this sort of thing is going to be really helpful, because a lot of people don't know what to expect and they can't manage their expectations and they don't know what they're going to get out of it. And I think that ties into a lot of people being scared to go and do something like this because they don't know what to expect. They can't manage those expectations. So it's
having time on your hands. Oh, go ahead.
So we're starting in May, and we're going to be full-time traveling in May. We're selling our house, and we're expecting to spend less overseas full-time than we are to spend sitting in our house. So it's just a mindset thing. Like, how much do you really spend? Do you track it? Because I can guarantee if you go to Thailand, you're going to be spending half of what you would spend in America, if not less. It's just mind-boggling. People like don't think about that. It's like, do you really track your spending? Because always cheaper somewhere else if you can make US dollars or euros.
Yes. And when you are doing the travel budgeting and all that, there's visas can be expensive depending on where you're traveling to. A lot of countries, especially in Southeast Asia, are now offering digital nomad visas. So if you have a job online and you can prove your income from your job, I can't remember. I think it's a 5-year digital nomad visa in Thailand and Indonesia. If you prove, I work online, I love this country, I want to stay for 5 years, and they'll give it to you. It's crazy.
Wow, that's mad.
There's a few European countries that just started that too. I think, was it Portugal just opened theirs?
Yes, I think Spain too. Portugal and Spain, I think.
Too.
Czech Republic has one for a year too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's getting more and more popular. I don't know outside of Southeast Asia. I've been just doing most of my research there because I'm dying to get back. But a lot of countries are now welcoming expats because they realize how much they boost the economy. And if you guys, just an Instagram recommendation, if you really want some incredible tips, follow Nomad Capitalist. That guy has always got great updates about visas around the world. And one of his videos I was watching, he actually recommended that everyone should have multiple passports if you can make that happen. He recommended having at least 3 passports because the way the crazy world is going these days, you never know what's going to happen. And it's always nice to have at least more than one passport and more than one country that you can always go to and feel safe and have a good lifestyle. And that's one reason I follow him, is because he always reminds me, live in the place where you're treated the best. Live in the place where you have a good quality of life, kind humans, good food, good nature. The cost has a lot to do with that. It reminds me of when I first lived in Pacific Beach, San Diego, California, and I was just jazzed to be on the water. And I thought, I have to be on the water. I have to be on the beach. I don't care what it cost. And then I realized, because my rent was so high and my Jeep payment was so high and all my bills were so high, that even though I lived on the beach, I wasn't going because I was working all day, every day, and I was too exhausted to enjoy the beauty that was around me. And so, yeah, it's all about perspectives and what kind of lifestyle you're looking for. And of course, if you have a family to take care of, that definitely complicates things as far as costs go. But that's my dream, and that's why I love watching traveling families, people that travel with their kids. Oh, I get so giddy when I watch them. I'm like, oh, you're living my dream. Like, that's the ultimate reward, to get to share these beautiful places with family and people you love. So, I talk a lot about my obsession with solo travel, but there's like this fantasy dream in my mind of being able to travel with a family. And to make that happen, I've started considering a second passport in a foreign country, and I've started thinking about which countries would be the best for me to raise a family in. I'm even thinking down the road, once I have my little toddlers, I'm thinking, okay, how about 6 months in America, 6 months in Thailand, 6 months in America, 6 months in Mexico? Why not split up the year, stay in America for a little while, have family time, and then go live in the foreign place and give your children some really cool experiences.
Oh yeah, education around the world like that too is just invaluable for kids, right? I mean, I know when I'm in school in the U.S., I don't feel like I'm learning world culture at all. I'm learning how to take a test. I'm not learning how to interact with the world, especially with the internet now and how small everything's getting, and the communication is just so much easier than it was even 30 years ago. The education system has to catch up, and I think doing something like 6 months in the U.S. and then 6 months somewhere else is just a great opportunity for kids.
Having the kids with us since April, really, since we left England. I personally, I've learned more in that time than I've learned in the last 10, 15, 20 years, because you see so much more, and you're inquisitive about it because it's new and you don't understand it. And I'm now learning Spanish because I've been in Mexico for 8 weeks, and I'm just going to do it. And and it's there's just so much, and for the kids as well to absorb all of that at a much, much younger age. There's no other education like travel. Absolutely not.
No, it's invaluable, and just exactly what you said. You're thrown into this period of accelerated growth and learning. Everything is new and exciting and stimulating your senses. I mean, even the smells are intoxicating. You're like, whoa, I'm somewhere new. I mean, like today is my first day in Africa, and I'm like, where's the food? Where's the waves? What's the people like? How do you sound? Oh my gosh, you're speaking French. Oh, you're speaking Arabic. This is cool. Everything's exciting, everything. And I just would love to share that with my children and family. It's like I'm always trying to get my parents and family members like, please come travel with me. I want you to see these places. It makes places a lot more special when you can share them with someone you love.
Yeah, definitely.
You were saying earlier, everyone should travel solo at some point, and I think us being married, it kind of seems weird, but I think we will probably spend at least 4 or 6 months separately. At least I want to, because I've never lived on my own ever, and it's weird to me to think that we should be separate for 4 to 6 months, but I think it would be good for both of us. So it's interesting. Yeah, like to see what other people think of that.
Yeah, no, I think it's healthy and wise. This is totally random, but kind of made me think of this. I was watching a video from Jordan Peterson talking about how couples, when you live together and you're doing everything together, and you kind of, you tend to fight and get fussy because you're together all the time. And he was saying that it's really important to designate me time in the relationship, and you can decide however long you want it to be. He said, some people may choose one day a week that they're not around each other. Like, this is my time and this is your time, and let's not communicate today. This is my day. And then they have another day of week where they all socialize with friends that are both of theirs, your friends and my friends. Let's do a big group. And then they have another night where we hang out with your family. And then this other night we hang out with your family. But you designate time that you're away from your partner with other people you love, so that you keep your other relationships strong, like relationships with your best friends, relationships with your family, because you have to maintain other relationships aside from your partner. Anyway, he was recommending, like, taking trips and spending time away from your partner just to have balance in the relationship. And I love that you are going to do that, just to
it's really important.
And I can't really say how much time is wise. Like, I feel like 3 months would be just enough for me. I think more than 3 months and I might be going crazy. But I'm thinking about like my current relationship and how wacky it's been for us, because he's going to be working in America next year. And I said, hey, well, have fun. I'm going to be in Japan and Korea without you. But I'll go for 3 months and then I'll come back to America. So we have our time. And I feel like if I'm gone for more than 3 months, it might put some stress on the relationship. But every relationship's different. I don't know. I just really.
I know.
Well, one dream of mine, honestly, is I'd like to spend some time in the Mediterranean and go on some charter boats and cruise ships and things like that, and just spend some time learning how all of that works. Living on the boats and doing that lifestyle.
We love sailing, so we want to buy a sailboat eventually. But.
Awesome!
But we don't have any sailing experience on bigger boats at all, So I'd like to take some time, take 3 months, and go do that in like a summer or something like that, and then come back and figure it out from there. I think that'd be a blast.
Yes.
It's important. Like, I took a month, sort of July and August this year, where I went back to England, saw some family, stopped at Santorini on the way, and then I went to Poland on the way back out and met back up with Lisa in Jordan. So it was about a month or so in total, and it was like we really missed each other. So it's that time part. We'll speak every day still, and Zoom calls together and stuff like that. And then some days we won't speak so much because we're busy, but then you just get that distance and that time and the time to miss each other.
Yeah.
So that's really important with it all, and it's a fine balance to make. But the traveling by yourself, and like I've never traveled really by myself, apart from these times that I've gone back to England and then gone back out. So Santorini for a week or whatever it was, and then Poland for a week by myself. It was really like, wow, I'm out here by myself. I can do what I want when I want, or like
freedom.
Well, sort of. It was like, because we've got the kids and stuff as well, and we're quite used to the routine of and planning stuff, and it was just like, oh, I've got nothing to do today. What to do? Oh, I'm just going to go for a walk and see what I can find then. And it's kind of, that side of it was kind of really nice. But yeah, it's nice to get back as well.
Yeah. Distance makes the heart grow fonder.
It does.
But
also,
the opposite way too. I mean, if you're traveling by yourself and you don't have any relationship at all, I mean, you're meeting people all the time, right? So I've talked to several people who've been traveling around the world, and sometimes you find the love of your life on the road, or you spend multiple months with them doing, say, a bike tour down New Zealand or something like that. So there's other people who are traveling that have similar mindsets that you inevitably run into because you're going to the same places because they're cool places, and that's how you meet the people that you like in the world, is putting yourself out there, doing the things you like to do, and everybody who likes to do those things does them too, right? So you can meet the same people.
Yeah,
and that's happened a lot.
Yeah. Sorry,
I'm sure
a lot of people that I've met in hostels and things like that, you just get on with, and even if there's a language barrier, you can have conversations and sit down with them, and like Sarah was saying earlier, learn each other's languages and phrases and things like that. And the reason that those people are probably the nicest people that you're ever going to meet is because they're like-minded. They're doing what you're doing. They want to do what you're doing. You want to do what they're doing. It's brilliant.
Yes. I've had people I met in this one couple, my friends Mirka and Federico. I met them in Thailand doing a beach cleanup with Trash Hero, and it just happened that I met them a week before they were moving, and I said, "Oh, where are you headed next?" I'll be in Bali. in a month, and they were like, oh, that's where we're going. It's like, okay, cool. Well, I'll see you in Bali. Met up with them in Bali. We surfed, cleaned more beaches, and then they reached out to me. I said, hey, I'm going to head to Europe, and I want to go somewhere warm. Problem is it's January. What's warm in Europe? Okay. And I said, oh, I'm going to go to Portugal. There's good surf in Portugal. My friend Mirka was like, no. The warmest place in Europe is the Canary Islands of Spain. And I'm like, what are those? I didn't even know these islands existed. And so she said, well, we're here now. We left Portugal because it was too cold. Meet us there. Okay, changed my mind. I'm not going to Portugal. I'm coming to see you. And met him there. And then it just so happened that a few months later, I'm going to Italy, and Como, Lake Como, where I want to stay, is 30 minutes from where Federico's parents live. So it's like, oh, we'll meet you in Italy too, and we'll go hiking in the Dolomites. And it's just like, our paths just keep meeting up, and we keep going to the same places. And we have, I've made a lifelong connection with an Italian and a Finnish girl that I met cleaning a beach in Thailand in 2018. We're in Italy together hiking this year. And it's just like so cool.
Yeah,
right.
I love when that happens. I love when that works out.
And it's flexible too, right? When people start valuing time, right? So you can do things like, oh, well, I'm not going to go to Portugal. I'm going to go to the Canary Islands. Like a lot of people in the world are like, I can't even fathom being able to make that decision because you have so many things that you're doing repetitively all the time. So like having that flexibility really lets you experience the world better. Cool.
Yeah. And that's one thing I was thinking about with the solo traveling, that like sense of freedom that it gives me. I think that's another reason I went from fearing it and being like, oh God, this is going to be, how am I going to do this? To being like, wow, this is amazing. I love this. I can do anything. Because it was like the ultimate freedom. None of my decisions were based upon anyone else. There's no seeking permission. I'm not worried about what anyone thinks because I don't know any of these people. I'm probably never going to see them again. So I was like, I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care what anyone wants, what anyone says. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. And since I decided I was going to do a full year, I didn't feel pressed for time. You know, when you take a vacation and you have a week or 2 weeks, and so you get your buddies, and you might even get crazy and get a spreadsheet moving with your pals and being like, okay, we have to see these 10 things, and we have 1 week to go here. You make this crazy list, and then you rush to do all those things. So each experience is like, it's just rushed, and your days are rushed, and you're tired, you're exhausted, and sometimes you don't even fully get to absorb the beauty of your surroundings because you're just looking for the next thing because you got to get back to work, or you got to get back to America or wherever you live. So not having that time constraint and realizing like, oh, how long I'm going to stay. I told myself I was going to be in Thailand for like 2 or 3 months because I made a list. Oh, Southeast Asia, I'm going to go everywhere. I ended up in Thailand for 6 months because I just couldn't leave. I was like, where am I? What is this magical land? And it's that slow pace of life. You know, Californians, and Texas, Americans, most of them live a very fast, busy, fast-paced life. Thailand, nah. Slow pace of life. And so it slowed me down, and it gave me the time and the peace and quiet of freedom and no obligations. So I think that's another reason it was so addicting. And I think that's why I kept having these moments of these epiphanies and this, I basically had a paradigm shift in my life where my lifestyle completely changed and my ideas of what my life should be changed because I no longer cared about societal norms or keeping appearances or doing what other people wanted me to do, saying yes to everything, socializing, whatever. I didn't care about any of it. And breaking away from that's what allowed me to make this big change into thinking, well, do anything I want.
Mm-hmm.
Anything? Yeah, anything. I can do anything I want. Like, what have I always wanted to do? What have I always wanted to see? I can do it. I can do it. And it doesn't matter what anyone has to say about it. It was like such a good feeling. And I realized that I'd been running away from my depression and anxiety, like I said, not loving myself and just choosing to live a life that was comfortable and easy, that wasn't fulfilling or meaningful to me in any way. So I just had this life-changing moment of, okay, the door's open, I'm walking through, and there's no going back. I will never go back to living life for other people, and I'm just going to do whatever I want to do from here on out. It was like, you know what I mean? It was just like,
I mean,
it was
so
bizarre.
special.
It was crazy.
It's so special
it was kind of scary.
I mean, I think everybody really wants to have that mindset shift, at some deep part of themselves, and it's so awesome being able to see people like yourself that have, gone through that experience and been like, yes, do it. Come on, everybody come with me. It makes so much sense. I love it. You're an inspiration, man.
Thanks. If you would have met me in my previous life before traveling, I was always a positive person, and I was one of those people that I was happy. I believed I was happy because I lived in a beautiful place, but I was just juggling jobs and always trying to. I was just always worried about money and socializing and really just keeping appearances and saying yes to everything and everyone. Even, you get invited to stuff and you really don't want to do it, but you just say yes because you feel obligated. You feel like you have to. I was doing that just all the time, just saying yes to everything and everyone, and really not valuing my time or taking time to myself. And I thought, what's the one thing I've always wanted to do that I'm not doing? I've always wanted to live in a foreign country. Okay, I'll go do it. Okay. And then after that, what's something else I've always wanted to do? I'll go do that now. Okay. Well, what's next?
Right.
Anything you want.
Yeah. So since we've told everybody that we're leaving next May to travel full time, our plan actually, we're going to jump on a cruise ship and we're going to cross the Atlantic for 11 days, right? And just kind of kick it off in one-way trip. And then after, right, we'll just start going through Europe, and then maybe make our way down south and maybe off to the east after that. But right now we've told everybody that we're leaving. So our conversations with family and friends have been very different over the last couple of months, right? Especially with holidays coming up in the US. So now everybody's going, okay, well, this is like the last time that I'm going to see them for a while. So people are now starting to not invite us to things like for early next year because they've already said goodbye, right? They've already done all of the social things that they need to do. So it's really, it's weird. It's not like we're saying no to things, but people are just like,
realizing they're not going to be there anyway. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's an interesting dynamic because there's still time going. It's a slow transition happening, and I think a lot of people when they make these decisions, they're a little bit more snappy. Like it's like, hey, I'm tired of this. I'm going. Yeah, right. I'm selling my house. Like my stuff is gone. It's a flurry of activity, and then they're like, "Oh man, what did I do?" Right? But I think
we've been planning this for a year at least, so it's definitely different. But it's also funny because you mentioned like the list, and I'm terrible. I always make a list. I have like check boxes. I want to hit this and this and this and this. So it's going to be interesting because we're going to England, so we're going to Bath, Bristol, London, and then we're going over to Utrecht, which is right outside of Amsterdam and Rotterdam. And I have like this whole like itinerary I want to hit, and I'm like, I don't know if we'll get to all this, but I'm gonna make it anyway because it makes me feel better, and I can research the places I'm in. So we'll see. But everyone's like, well, have you made any more plans in Europe? I was like, no, like once we're done with that trip, I don't know where we're gonna end up. We might end up in Spain. We might go to Portugal. We might, go to like
Italy.
Austria and go skiing. Who knows? So it's just funny because I'm such a planner and I need to just not be a little more spontaneous. But you're good at that. So.
Yeah, I can be spontaneous.
Yeah.
It's good to have both. It's good to have that balance. It's good to plan and be able to be spontaneous because, like you said, you've been planning this trip for a year. I think that is just some of the best advice you can give anyone that hasn't done this, that's thinking about it. Save now and plan now. You don't have to stick to the plan. The plan can always change. But having the idea in my head, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to be brave enough to do it. I was decided 1 year. You have 1 year. You're moving to Thailand in a year. It doesn't matter how much money you save. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You're moving. And I just made that not contract deal with myself. I just said, you have to do this next year, and just try. But having that cushion of a year made a huge difference financially, and also I was able to build myself up. I told other people that I was going to do it, and then I was like, well, I can't back out now. Saving, it was like not sure about clicking the button to buy the flight, and I was like, if I buy it, then I have to, oh, it's done, I'm going,
I'm so bad at that too.
Yeah, planning ahead definitely saved myself some stress in the beginning, but I became a lot more spontaneous and a lot more carefree as time went on, because then I didn't feel like I needed or wanted to rush through these countries and these experiences. Because you get comfortable in a place, and then you start making friends, and then if you start doing the volunteer work, if you work in a place, that's another thing I definitely recommend. If you're going to be somewhere longer than a month, work there, volunteer, or try to find a job of some kind and work there to connect with the local people in the community. I'm losing train of thought here. Anyway.
Yeah, working around the world is an interesting topic, right? So especially coming from the U.S., and I think in Europe, they have to hire people from Europe before they can start doing outside people. There's some weird laws and regulations that if you're not thinking about it and planning it beforehand, how do you navigate that situation if you want to work overseas while you're traveling? I mean, especially for normal things like you can't, in the US, you can kind of go into a restaurant if you wanted to, and be a cook or a waitress or whatever, because they're always looking for those people. But if you don't know the language and you're overseas, even though I have the skills, I can't necessarily do that over there because I don't know the language. So I think there's some barriers to entry for what you can do. But like what you were saying before, with the work and travel programs that are out in the world, I think that helps alleviate some of that situation. For us, one thing that we're planning on doing is trusted house sitters. Right? I don't know if you've heard of that program before.
I had a friend doing that. Yeah.
But I think it's a great situation, especially for someone like us, where your biggest expenses are traveling and lodging and food, mostly. So this one is, you schedule a week of time. People put it up and they say, hey, I'm going to be out for a week and I need somebody to watch my house and my animals for this period of time. And it's all over the world, right? So you can apply for the position and say, yep, I would like to do that for you. And if you get accepted, then you can make your way over there, hang out with the fur babies, if you will.
Yeah.
And then get some local culture there too. And it's a house, so you have a kitchen, means you can cook food, right? All of your expenses can start to go down a little bit. So I think that's really cool. I mean, you're working in the sense that you're taking care of the animals and taking care of the house, but I mean, you're kind of doing that anyway, right? So
and you get more of a local experience too. You're more of a traveler, not necessarily a tourist, or
you have cute company.
Right.
Yes.
That's great. Yeah, one of my friends was doing that. I think she said you set up an account, and so it's very safe. And you can give reviews for the house, that the house owners can give reviews for the house sitters, and so it's a very safe site to use, and it sounds like a great way to save money. Also, when I first started traveling, I was looking on couchsurfing.com. You can find local people that just want company and they want to show you a local experience, and they say, hey, come, I have an extra bed here, come stay here for a few days while you look for an apartment or whatever. And there, you know what was huge for me? Facebook groups for expats. Every time I was heading to a new city, I would just go to the search on Facebook and type whatever the city, expats, Sagres expats, Lisbon expats, whatever. And these Facebook groups pop up, and I would just choose the one with the biggest number of people, like 1,000 people or 3,000, whatever. And I'd join these Facebook groups. Hey, I'm moving to this city, looking to make friends. And then I just make a post, whether I was looking for accommodations or I wanted to rent a motorbike or whatever my questions were. I would just introduce myself. Hey, I'm Sarah. I'm looking to rent a bike, or I need a place to stay. Any recommendations? And I would just get the best feedback, the best information. And I'd have random people say, hey, welcome to town. We're going to karaoke night this Thursday. You want to go? Hell yeah, karaoke. Jam. Yes. Karaoke. Vietnam. Yes. And I found the best hikes and like hidden places, like local spots that I wouldn't have found otherwise through these expat Facebook groups. Those really introduced me to a lot of cool people and gave me so much good information. So definitely, whatever place you're in, whatever place you're moving to, even if you're only there for a week, join the expat group just so you can see what cool events are happening or what the best restaurant for sushi or pizza or whatever. You can find anything in those groups.
Cool. That's great advice.
I'm listening to you guys, but I got to plug in my charger because I have like 7%.
Yeah, mine's about to go, to be fair.
That battery, story of my life. But yeah, the expat group things helped, and the couch surfing site, the Workaway thing is good.
Wow. Pretty good.
I really can't think of another site that I used a lot. Airbnb, staying with local hosts also was a game changer. I was always trying, in the beginning when I was first traveling, I always wanted my own space because I'm teaching online. I'm kind of loud, and I like to sing and walk around naked. And I was just like, I need my own place. So then but the times that I booked a place, like a shared room in someone's home, completely different experience, way better experience, because the local people, they take you cruising around town. They show you their favorite spots. They show you the best places to eat. They show you the best cafes, the best local desserts. They, again, share the language with you. And I just started realizing, like, I'll just book rooms in people's houses, and then, like, there's my local experience. These people are cooking me their favorite local dishes and letting me play with their cute kids and teaching me Turkish and feeding me Turkish tea and baklava and little nut snacks every day. And I don't know, I've had some of the best stays I've had were the times that I stayed in someone's home with a local family. So I definitely recommend anyone that's using Airbnb and you're solo traveling, stay with a family and you'll have like the best experience. Shoot, sorry, I'm plugging this in.
I agree. I think that's great advice. I mean,
the times that we've stayed in people's houses are hilarious because they have this one in where was it? Baltimore? Somewhere over there.
Oh yeah.
We show up and they're like, yeah, this is our blind dog and this is our deaf cat, and if you hear a scream in the middle of the night, it's probably the cat. And we wake up and I thought it was a child in this house. Yeah. And this cat's like, no! And I'm just like, oh my God. Scream. The cat's deaf and the dog's blind. So then the dog starts barking at you because it can't see you. And I'm just like, this is hilarious. So they were like, yeah, did the cat wake you up? And we're like, yeah. They're like, well, we warned you. I'm like, yeah. That's fair.
That house is like
We
a
told you
circus.
she was a screamer.
It was hilarious. Yeah, that's our story of Airbnb hosts in, at their house.
The people that you'll meet, they're just always, in my experience, especially in Turkey. I just spent 3 months in Turkey, and all of my Turkish hosts were so warm, hospitable, and just giving. They just want to hang out and share their culture. Have you tried this food? Have you been to this place? Go. Have you been to this beach? Okay, we'll take you there. Just always making us food and feeding us Turkish drinks, like
Making you feel welcome. Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah. I love Turkey. I got to get back to Turkey. And that's another recommendation. Go to Turkey. At some point in your life, go to Turkey and fall in love with Turkish culture, and the biodiversity of that place is out of this world. It's a beautiful country, and it's really big and loaded with adventure. And again, I made this long list, and I thought the longer I stayed in Turkey, the shorter the list would get, because I would be checking things off, and the opposite happened. The longer I stayed in Turkey, the longer the list got, because the more people I met and the more recommendations I got. And I realized, God bless, this country is huge. There's no way I can see it all in 3 months. You need like a year. Cool place.
All right. Well, it sounds like we've had a great time with Sarah. And we'd like to probably welcome you back at some point, because I'm sure you have way more stories, and you'll have stories for the next months as you travel. So we want to thank you.
Thank you. It's been great. I love travel talk.
Yeah, it's been really, really good fun.
Definitely.
And I know, Sarah, you have an Instagram, and then you've also posted a blog on Timmy's World if you guys want to check that out too.
Awesome. Yes, definitely. You can find me on Instagram at Sarah_sunshine__. And I started a YouTube channel. I kind of put it on pause for now, but it's been a fun learning experience. If you want to check it out and tell me what you think, it's called Chasing Sunshine Dreams. And if you have any recommendations from Morocco, I'm all ears. Please tell me. I've never been here before.
We did five places in Morocco. So I'll speak to you after about where we went and what we did.
Yes, I would love any recommendations. And if there's any foods I should try, please tell
All
me.
of them.
All of them. Everything.
Pigeon pie, everything. Sheep's head, brain, everything. Just eat it all.
I don't know about the brains. I haven't tried the brain. There's a lot of sheep brains in Turkey also. I'm on the fence about the brains. It looks so squishy.
It's kind of like it's a squidgy texture. It's not great tasting, but if we'll talk about it off camera, because it might be really
squishy. They're not great. And the texture is just bizarre, but just try them.
Go for it. It's an experience, right?
Hey, you don't know until you try it, right?
Exactly that. And it's mind over matter with a lot of that sort of stuff as well. You just pretend it's mashed potato or something. I don't know. Just go for it.
Get out of your comfort zone.
If anybody else out there would like to be on How I Travel, please shoot us a message. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, be great.
Everybody.
Thanks again, Sarah.
Yes, good to see you guys.